Spirit has spoken, and this week's topic is inspiring others. Now, think about it. Do you feel like you inspire other people in your life? Could be anybody, friends, family, coworkers, yourself. I'll give you a second to think about it. Maybe you're just one of those people that you go out into the world and you are inspiring. Or maybe it's something you want to do more of. You could start with yourself, inspiring yourself, and then work your way to inspiring others. But anyway, I was led to talk about this. So the back of the card says, I help others feel empowered by acknowledging their gifts. And gifts could be anything. You know, you have a best friend that's a great public speaker, that's a gift. Or another friend that can make things. Or somebody who does just inspire others by their presence, that's a gift. I think sometimes the spiritual community thinks gifts is like, well, they're a good medium, or they're a good psychic, they're good at tarot cards or pendulum readings. No, everyday life of who you are and the things that you do well are gifts. So think about that for a second. What are you good at? You may walk through life like, I don't have any gifts. You know, my spirit team, I can't hear them. They haven't given me anything. You're born with gifts. Everyday things that you do can be a gift. You're really good at cooking dinner for your family. That's a gift. And many people have lots of gifts. Some people are just really good at a couple things. I'm personally a jack of all trades kind of person. I've never been have excelled in one specific area. And for a while that really bothered me. It's like, well, why can't I be excellent in one area where people just come to me for that one thing? And it took me a long time to realize that I can help people get started because I am a jack of all trades kind of person. I know a little bit about a lot of different subjects, enough to get somebody moving in a certain direction. So that's a gift. Sometimes I still think about it like I'd really like to be an expert in something, but that's not who I am in this lifetime. So let's read the book. When others are inspired, you allow them to take center stage and step into a greater acknowledgement of their personal power. When others are made to feel useful, they are likely to embrace more courageous decisions as their self-worth increases. Imagine the perfection of not having to do everything by yourself and infusing others with a greater sense of purpose just by asking them for their help. It's not a matter of feeling weak or being incapable. Instead, it's about realizing the gift of inspiration that you possess by simply inviting others to be a part of your day. This mantra is ideal for increasing intimacy in relationships, resolving martyrdom, and communicating your needs. And that always leads me, communicating your needs, leads me to think about women and when they start families. And a lot of times the perfectionism that happens when you become a mom and a wife, or wife and a mom, depending on how that happens. You feel like you need to be perfect, you need to do everything, or you think your spouse can't handle something. And a lot of times it's a control issue because they don't do it how you like it done. And I remember being that way for a while. until somebody told me, because they were struggling. This was actually a psychologist I knew back at when I worked for Head Start, and she realized that she could not do everything, plus work full time, and I believe they had two kids, and she had to resolve within her mind that she needed to let her husband do certain things like clean the bathroom, even though it might not be to up to her standards, but that was at least one thing off her list of things to do. And the thing of it is, if you find it's not quite up to par, almost like the job wasn't really done, you could, in a way, frame it for your husband like, hey, can I make some suggestions? Frame it. I mean, obviously, you know your spouse better than I do. There's ways of framing things for everybody to make it like you're not attacking them or it's harsh criticism, you know, because there's a difference between, you know, harsh criticism and what's the word? Um, I can't think of it now, but giving good feedback, basically. So those are things you have to, work out in your relationships of, saying, hey, this could be better if you just tweak this one little item, then it would definitely be clean and sanitary for everybody in the household, things of that nature. Bring science into it. Science is always good. So you can inspire others just by, helping somebody do something better as long as you frame it in a way that's not overly critical. And it should make you feel better to inspire others in a way that's not harsh and let go of the perfectionism. But, most people wouldn't think like the bathroom situation, like that would be inspiring, but actually it is. I mean, I think we think of inspiring, it's like, listening to somebody like Brene Brown or whoever else is inspiring in your life, some celebrity. Um, some celebrity story, how they came out of party. Mary J. Blige is a good example of that. Um, things of that nature. Everything can be inspiring, depending on how you frame it, what your perspective of it is. And sometimes it's a matter of changing your perspective on things that sheds new light on it and makes it less hard to deal with. So I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Crystal from the Crystal Center of Healing. I consider myself a life coach, a stress coach, a self care practice coach. I've been an energy healer since 2006. Wow, that's 20 years now. Okay. Um, and I'm here to help. I'm here to maybe give you a different perspective. I don't expect you to um, just because I say something that's fact, and it may not be a fact in your life. Don't substitute my opinion for whatever your judgment may be on the subject. I'm just here to make you think about things maybe a different way or learn something new that you may not have known. Um, trying to think what else I could tell you about me. Um, I've had a lot of trauma in my life. I grew up with a mother with mental health issues, schizophrenia, and borderline personality disorder. So I've dealt with a lot. I've seen a lot. I've spent most of my life observing people and their behaviors. I worked in IT for 25 years. I do have a degree in computer science and a degree in behavioral science. So I've done and seen a lot of things. So I just figured that I have some perspective that might help somebody. So I'm here this card's actually perfect for me because I feel like I'm here to try to inspire others to live a better life. You know, I don't know. It's a lot to think about, but it comes from a place of unconditional love. There's no strings. Um, if you find that one of my videos might help somebody else, certainly share it. Um, it might even help if you're having a hard time maybe explaining something to somebody and you hear something in one of my videos that might help, frame it differently for your friend that you're trying to help or your spouse or whomever. Go ahead and share, like and subscribe my videos. Like I said, I'm here to help. Um, and it does, I am a little selfish. Doing these videos does help me personally because I'm talking about stuff. I didn't like write stuff down to talk about. I'm just talking off the cuff about this subject. And sometimes I leads me on to a different tangent, but everything's connected. We're all connected. Situations are connected. Um, I believe that we're here on Earth as a learning. Like Earth is school to me. Because I believe that we come into this life, onto this earth, to evolve. We're souls. We're not of this body. There's mind, body, and spirit, but I believe our soul is here to expand and learn. And, one day I'd like to evolve into being somebody's guide here on earth, things of that nature. So, anywho, so every week, I try to every week, I shuffle my healing mantra deck. It's not mine, it's somebody else's. Um, and whatever card flies out, that's what I talk about. Um, this is part one. So in part two, I will actually do a guided meditation if you're interested in that. And it's always on the subject of whatever card I pull. Now, I do have videos. I have 40 videos now on YouTube about different things. I started out the YouTube video with just talking about subjects that I felt that Spirit was pushing me to talk about. So some of my earlier videos are just one-offs type things. I do talk about grief and creating cooperation in life. Last week was unraveling codependency, I believe. So there's all kinds of different subjects I talked about. I talked about how to set up a self-care practice for yourself with some non-traditional things and I'm talking about, the typical diet, exercise. I come from the spoke of spiritual, you know, coming from that side with a little psychology maybe mixed in with it since have that degree in behavioral science. I would like to go back and get my master's and become a counselor, but that hasn't happened yet. So, this is what I do. This is who I am. And hopefully you'll like my videos and maybe gain something from them. Like I said, think about something differently. Um, I've been on this planet 55 years now, and I've seen a lot of stuff. Been through a lot of stuff. So, if you want to ask me a question, put it in the comments. If you want to email me, I'm Crystal at thecrystalcenterofhealing.com. If you want to work with me, we could talk about that. But I hope to see you in part two for the guided meditation. In the meantime, take care.